Hello everyone, I'm Siddharthan. In this video, we will be building an image generation web app on Streamlit, and for generating these images, we will be using a model called as DALL-E. So this DALL-E image recognition model is developed by OpenAI. So OpenAI is getting a lot of attention recently after they have launched their chatbot called as ChatGPT. So in a different video, let's try to understand more about this ChatGPT. But for now, let's try to understand how we can use this DALL-E model for building an image generation system. Okay, so let's get started, and this will be the agenda for today's video. So first of all, I'll show you how this end web app looks like. So this is developed on Streamlit. So we have a pretty simple UI in this case where we can give a text description of an image, and this DALL-E will give us an image based on those description. So I'll paste a text here which says an astronaut lounging in a tropical resort in space. So you can try any description here and try to be as creative as possible. So once I give this text description, I'll generate an image, and this will take a few seconds. Okay, so we will use or integrate this DALL-E model in the form of an API from this OpenAI, and we feed this particular text to this API, and it will return an image that is generated based on this text. So let's see how this output is looking like. Yeah, so you can see this image, which is more or less similar to what the description that we have given here. So similarly, you can give this generate image again, and it will generate a new image. So you can try different things. So I also have few prompts here, so you can like try some of these prompts too. So I'll check this one, a white Siamese cat. So I'll copy this and paste this particular text here again. So this will take a few seconds. So first I'll explain you how you can feed data, or how you can pass this text description to this API and they get the image, and later let's try to understand how we can build this web app. So those are the things that we will follow or try to understand in sequence in this video. Yeah, so this is the image that we got. Now let's try to understand how we can implement this. So for this you need an OpenAI account. So just go to Google and search OpenAI. Okay, so in this OpenAI, go to this openai.com. So here you can see this API. So you can also go through their websites if you want. So go to this API, and here you need to log in first of all. So log in. So you can log in either with your Google account or with your Windows account. So here I have logged in with my Google account. So once all this logging process is done, so it is a pretty simple process. So once this login process is done, this is the page that you will be landed in. Okay, so we have this chat gpt as I told you, so you can try it. So I'll also post a detailed video on this chat gpt. And now what we are interested in is this image recognition, or sorry, the image generation using AI. So just scroll here and go to this image generation. So this is where we have this DALL-E model, and you can also see the pricings here and all these things. Okay, so when you create a personal account, you get a credit of about like $18, and you can use those credits in order to build your apps. So if you wanted to build a app where you get a lot of traffic, in that case you may have to upgrade your account. Okay, so here we'll be building using our free credits that is available to us. And now we need our API key. Okay, so that API key is present in this account details. So go to this account details. So there you will have this view API keys. I have already created this API key, so I can like delete this if I want. If I want to create a new secret key, I'll give this create new API key. So I'll copy this and I'll delete the first one. Okay, so this is the key that I have. Now I'll come back to this code. Now let's see how this works. So I have my Google Colab here. Now I'll show you how you can get this image before building the web app. So first you need to install your OpenAI library. Okay, so pip install OpenAI. So I'll run this cell. So in this environment, OpenAI is already installed. So it says requirement already satisfied. If not, this will install the OpenAI library. And these are all the libraries and modules that we need. So we have OpenAI, and we have this urlib dot request. So this image will be given to us in the form of a URL. So from this URL we have to extract the image. So we need this urlib request and then pillow for this image processing. And then we also have this cv2 and we have this google.colab.patches. From this we are importing cv2. I am sure this is just to display the image that we have. So I'll run this cell. And this is where you have to paste your OpenAI key. So I've shown you, right? So here you can get your secret API key, and from here you just paste this key. Okay, so create a variable. So this, like, you shouldn't change anything here. So it should be OpenAI dot API key is equal to this API string, API key string. So I'll run this, and now this is the image that will be generated for us, and I'm storing this in this image underscore response. So OpenAI dot image dot create. So this is the function. And prompt. So prompt is the variable, or the prompt is the parameter in which we have to pass the description of the image. So the description that I'm giving here is an astronaut lounging in a tropical resort in space, and n is equal to 1. So you can also generate multiple images, and now I'm just interested in creating or in generating only one image. So I'm giving n is equal to 1. If you want to create 2 or 3 images, then just give that number. And size. So size, we have to mention what is the size of the image that we need. So this DALL-E model supports 3 sizes. One is 256 into 256 dimension, 512 into 512 dimension, and 1024 into 1024 dimension. So for now, I'll select this 512 into 512 dimension. So I'll run this. So this will give me an URL, which is an image of this astronaut lounging in a tropical resort in space. So I'll print this image response, which will be given in the form of an OpenAI object, which is more or less a JSON object. Okay, so it just give you this created data and all these things. So what we need here is this particular URL. So I'll right click here and copy this link address. If I paste this URL, I will get this image. Okay, yeah, so this is the image that we are getting. Now we need to show this image, or we need to get this image from this URL and display it in Python. And now let's try to see how we can do that. So here I have this image response. So we know that this is in the form of a JSON, and I can access this URL by saying image response data. So when I say image response dot data, this is what I will get. So you can see this is in the form of a list. So from this list, I'm taking the first element, which is this dictionary. And this dictionary, I can just call this URL in order to print this link address. So we get this link address if I say image response data of 0 URL. Okay, so we have this JSON, and from this JSON we are calling this data. And when I call this data, this is the list I get, and within this list I'm calling the first element, which is nothing but this dictionary, and from this dictionary I'm calling my URL, which will give my final URL of my image. Okay, so we have seen this here. Now I'm going to store this URL in a variable called as image URL, and I'm printing this. So let's run this. Now this URL is stored here. Now from this URL, we have to save this image in our folders. So this is the current directory that we are in. So this will save this image. So I'll say this is the image that I've created before. So I'll delete this particular file. So let me just refresh this. Okay. Now let's get this. So URL lib.request.url retrieve. So this will retrieve the image from this URL. So this is a URL that I'm passing, and next is the parameter that you have to create, or let me call this as image.png. Okay, so this image will be retrieved and will be stored in as this image.png. Now let's run this. Now you can see this image here. So this image.png is created, and now I'll display this using the cv2.imread. So first we are reading this using this OpenCV library, which is a cv2.imread. Later I'm displaying this image using the cv2 underscore imshow. Okay, so let's run this to see if we get this image. So this is how you can retrieve the image from the URL. So you can also run these cells again in order to get a different image. So each time you run this, you will get a different image. So I'll run all the cells again. This will take a few seconds. So this is how you can give in your API key, and you can generate an image from this. Okay, so this is the image represented by this particular text description. Again, you can also give like different text descriptions too. Now let's see how we can put this together in a web app using Streamlit. Okay, so I'll close this particular page as of now. So I'm just going to like incorporate all these things inside this Streamlit code, but I'm just going to put this in a function. So I'll open my spider. So first things first, you need to install the OpenAI library. So I'll go to this Anaconda prompt. So from this Anaconda prompt, I have a different environment. So if you don't have any other environments, if you have base environment, you can just say pip install OpenAI. But here I have a different environment, so I'm going to activate it using conda activate machine learning. So machine learning is the name of the environment that I have in my system. So if you have a different environment, you can activate this. If not, you can just say pip install OpenAI. So this is the first thing. So I have already installed this library, so the requirement will be satisfied already. Okay, so I don't have to install it again. Now let's see how we can build this web app. So I have this, I have imported this OpenAI library and URL lib.request from PIL pillow image and Streamlit as ST. Okay, and I have given my OpenAI key. So this is the new key that I have generated. So once this video is done, I'll probably revoke this particular API. So I'll copy this key and paste it here. Yeah. So let's paste this. So this is my AI.api underscore key, and this is our API. Now I'm creating a function. So this function is def generate underscore image. So and the parameter that I need to give to this function is image description. So once I give this image description, it will create an image based on this description, which is image.png, and it will be loaded using this image.open, and later I can display this using my Streamlit app. Okay, so all the other things are what we have discussed before. So I have this image response. So here I'm storing the final response from this API of OpenAI as openai.image.create. Prompt is my image description which we have to give. Okay, and I have this n is equal to 1 and size of 512 into 512. Okay, and then we have this image URL which is given by image response data of 0 URL. So this will retrieve that URL, and from this URL we are going to retrieve the image. So URL lib.request URL retrieve, and here I'm passing the URL, and here I'm saving the image as img.png, and later I'm opening this image as image.open, which we are importing this image from this pillow library PIL. Okay, so I have this image.open and I'm returning this processed image. So first, so here the process is we give a description and get an image from this OpenAI API, and after that we get the URL, and from this URL we are retrieving the image and then saving the image in my local directory, and then returning this image in the form of this pillow image.open. So this is the details for my web app. So first I'm creating this st.title as DALL-E image generation OpenAI, and I am creating this image description. So this is the text input. This is the text box that we have created, that you have seen in the web app. So this is st, which is Streamlit. So we have imported the Streamlit as st. So I'm saying Streamlit.text input and image description. So this is like the label for our text box. So you will see this later in the web app. And if st.button generate image, so we are creating a button, Streamlit button called as generate image. So once this button is clicked, so we will display the image, and this image can be displayed as st.image. So what we are doing here is, so the user need to type in the description of this image in this text box, and after that the user has to click on the button generate image. So once this process is done, we pass this text description which is stored in this img description to this function called as generate image. So this function is nothing but what we have written here. So this description goes here and we get the image from OpenAI and store it in our local directory. So after that we just return this img, which is my image.open of this image. Later we just display it using st.image, this Streamlit function. So this is the entire code. So I hope everything is clear. So all this code is pretty simple here. So I'll just give a recap in the end of this video so that you understand this piece of code. But for now, let me run the Streamlit app. So I'll save this app and I'll minimize it. So I have to run this Streamlit app from my Anaconda command prompt. So how we need to run this is use the command Streamlit run, and here open double quotes, and here we need to pass the name of the Python file along with the directory. So I'll copy the directory from here, paste the directory, and also we need to copy the name of the file along with the extension, which is .py. Okay, so this is the file that I have worked on, which is DALL-E image generation web app. So image generation.webapp.py. Now let's paste it and close the double quotes. Now let's press enter. So this will create a local host where our web app will be hosted. Okay, so this will automatically create a tab. So in this image description we can give some text. So I'll copy this sample text that I have. Again, you can also be creative and write some description. So try to give a detailed description, more specific description, you will get better images. So once I pasted this description, I'll use this generate image. So again, this will take few seconds, and after that we will get our image. And if you want to build this as a public web app, you can deploy this web app in Heroku. So I'll also give the link for that video in the video description, where you can deploy a Streamlit app on Heroku or Streamlit Cloud. So anything. So you can refer to this videos in this particular video description. So that will be helpful for you. And there is also another way. So we can see this particular image, which is an astronaut lounging in a tropical resort in space. We can also try like different images of this, the happy winter panda. So let's paste this here and see what we get. And I'll also copy another thing. So this particular text description is available in this DALL-E website itself. So I've got this description from there. So you can also refer to that. So let's see how the image is looking like for this happy winter panda. So one option is generating a public web app by deploying the Streamlit app on either Heroku or Streamlit Cloud. And the other option is, if you want to create your own UI, if you want to create your Android app, what you can do is build this entire code, in the form of an API. You can use fast API. So you can put all this code in an API where it's just a simple get API. So you can just feed the text description to that API, and this API will call the OpenAI in return. The OpenAI API in return, and it will respond you with this image URL. And from this image URL, you can display it in your native UI or in your Android application. So that is like one process. Either one thing is you can create this web app with this default UI of Streamlit, or you can build your own UI. So that is like up to you. Let's create another image of a sunlit indoor lounge area with a pool containing a flamingo. So this is again another description that is given in this OpenAI site, which you can again look into. So these are some of the applications of this, and there is also other features for this DALL-E model. So it can also edit pre-existing images. It's not like it is used for image generation images only. So let's see this image first. So and sunlight sunlit indoor lounge with a pool where we have a flamingo just chilling. So similarly, you can just be creative and generate images. So we can also feed it images and ask this DALL-E model to edit these images. Okay, so I hope everyone is clear with this part. I'll just give a quick recap of what we have built using the Streamlit app so that you understand this clearly. So first we are importing the libraries, and then we are like calling this API key. So once we have passed in this API key, we are creating a function which will take in the description of the image, feed it to OpenAI API, and this will create an image, and this will give us the image in the form of a URL. And from this URL, we are retrieving it using this urlib.request, and then we are storing this as image.png. And from this image.png, I'm reading this image using pillows image.open and returning this processed image. So after that, we have this st.title, which is DALL-E image generation OpenAI, which is this particular title. Okay, so this title is created using Streamlit st.title, and then we have this image description of st.text input, which is image description. This is the label. So this is the label that we have, and this is the text box that we have created using this st.text input, where we can feed in the text or image description. And after that, we are creating this button, and we are naming this button as generate image, which is created by this. So if st.button, if this button is clicked, this process should be carried out, which is we feed in the image description to this function called as generate image. And once we have this image, we have to display it using this st.image, okay, which is here. So this is just one variation of it. You can also generate like 3 or 4 images and display all the 3-4 images from this particular web app. Just try those things and also see how you can edit the images. So all these documentation will be available in this a DALL-E system. So just go to this overview and go to this image generation. You will also have the example codes as well. So you have this response and all these things. So if you want to build this on different languages, you can also see the code for those cases as well. So you have this, And so this is for editing a particular image. So take an image and just like edit it, so those things will also be there, so you can just like check those things. So I hope everyone is clear of what we have discussed so far. I'll share these files with you. So what you have to do is just create a new API key, and you can just run this to build this web app. Okay, so that's it from my side, and I'll see you in the next upload. Thanks for watching.